G'day guys, how we going? Well, here we are, back again. Another chat with you guys. Been a couple of weeks since we last had a chat with you guys. Already a few of you on already, which is great. Tonight we're going to have a chat about, this is a question I get asked a fair bit about, for guys that are starting out, newbie people starting out. Where can they go forward driving, with other people, in the same sort of situation, just getting started. Where can they go? So I thought we'd have a bit of a chat about that tonight, and it's all about four-wheel drive tracks for beginners and where you can go. So where I'm going to start with this, I've said this for quite some time, and provided, as long as everyone can hear me here, I assume everyone can hear everything's going on, and make sure it's all coming through loud and clear, which is always good to know. Make sure it's all getting received well. But where I sort of come with this all the time, and I suggest this area, for people that are in these situations, just starting out four-wheel drive, where can you go? You can't beat going out through that sort of Mansfield area. I reckon that Mansfield area is just a great area for starting out. Leanne's saying loud and clear. I like to hear that. Matt, g'day guys, how you going? Thanks very much there coming in. Loud and clear, that's always good to hear. So at least it's not silent. You just hear some lips moving. That wouldn't be good at all. As long as you can hear it, that's the main thing. So yeah, if you're just starting out, where can you go full driving to do some good stuff? Well, the first thing I want to touch on here is, firstly, if you're a beginner, you don't ever want to go out by yourself. Now, I know you've seen me go out on my own. I do a lot of solo stuff by myself, so it's probably a bit of contradictory here of what I'm sort of trying to say here, but I've been doing it for a long time, and I'm no expert, but I've been doing it for a long time, so that's a whole different subject. But if you are starting out on your own, you don't ever want to go out by yourself. Not a great idea at all. So, if you've got some mates you can go out with, in case, you get into some bit of strife and that sort of thing, well, at least they're going to help you through, some of the places you're going to go. So they might help you through some of the situation you're going to be dealing with. But highly recommend, if you are getting into this four-wheel drive scene, which it is certainly exploding now, and it has been exploding for probably over the last couple of years, but I highly recommend you go and do a four-wheel drive course. Now, where do you find those? Well, there's certainly a number of four-wheel drive courses that you can go and do with clubs and that sort of thing, but depending on where you guys are based, I know down here in Victoria, now I've done a couple of courses over the years with Four Drive Victoria. They do run some amazing courses too, so they're worth having a chat with about the courses that they do run. So I thought we'd get into that sort of stuff first before we start talking about tracks. Let's get into some of the safety stuff first. And also, you got to make sure you've got some recovery gear, even if just basic recovery gear from a snatch strap and a few shackles and those sort of things, just to get yourself out of trouble if you're going away with some other vehicles. But more importantly too, you got to absolutely know how to use it too. So that's the other thing, you got to look into it there. But just touch with a couple of guys here, touring with Tyron. Kind of g'day guys, how you going there? Greg and Frank, thanks for coming in there tonight. Macca, how you going there, mate? Thanks very much for coming in. So there's a couple of things there. You want to look at doing a four-wheel drive course. Highly recommend those. You'll do them with you have a licensed instructor sitting in your passenger seat, and you do the course in your vehicle. So, you get to, get the feel of your vehicle and that sort of thing, to get to see how it goes over certainly different terrains. And the couple that I've done with Four Drive Vic, they're certified courses too. So, you'll get through the end of it, and providing, you do all the tasks that's required, with your vehicle, you'll get a certificate at the end of it to saying you've passed that course, and highly recommend them. So there's a couple of things you want to think about there before we start again talking about tracks, and the recovery gear, which I've already sort of briefly talked about there. Make sure you got at least some basic recovery gear, and more importantly, you got to absolutely know how to use it. So, and then the other thing too, before we get into these tracks, if you're just going to head out, you're just starting out with yourself and a couple of mates, just get into this game, and you want to start, exploring a bit of the high country or all around Australia. Well, the tracks I'm going to talk about now are predominantly Vic High Country stuff, but they are all at times when the tracks are dry, particularly if you're just going to go out with a couple of mates who haven't done a great bit of this before. This is all about dry conditions, whereas it's a totally different if you're going to head out with some experienced guys. Well, if it's raining a bit or the track's a bit greasy, totally different situation because they're going to help you through and talk you through some of these, situations you're going to probably deal with. So totally different ball game. But what I'm going to talk about here and the areas I'm going to talk about, the tracks I'm going to talk about, when it's completely dry. So you have a great experience. You get a bit of an idea about, tyre pressures, low range, all that sort of stuff. Get to feel how that sort of all works. But it's got to be dry conditions. Because even some of the, like, the area I'm talking about, it's out through Mansfield, and even some of these roads, like where we're going to start here is Carter's Road. Now, even those roads, even the road down there to Sheepyard. Now, on a dry day, you get a Commodore up any of these roads, but I tell you what, you put a bit of rain on some of these hard packed clay-based roads, and they turn to pretty greasy situations very, very quickly. So even some of the easiest tracks in the high country can turn very, very nasty in a short space of time, just when you chuck a bit of rain, a bit of water on them. So let's get over it. Let's just talk about purely when it's just dry. But the map I want to talk to you about tonight is this one here. So the Mansfield, Mount Hotham, Mount Howard map. Grab hold of that one, and that is the map there that's going to take you through this trip that I'm going to talk about today. Now, I'm going to do a bit of a series on this. So we're going to cover a fair loop around Mansfield, and eventually I'll run you through over the next few weeks. We're going to come out through Lacola and that sort of stuff. So, and look, I'm a big believer that, we all start somewhere. And I know probably some of you guys that are watching this tonight, there's a heap of you already on it from New South Wales, all over the place. And it's great to see you guys coming on. But we all start somewhere. Like I've been doing this for 15, 20 years, but we all start somewhere, and I love giving back to the guys that are just getting started and give them a start. And so that's why I thought we'd have a bit of a chat about this, because it is a topic that I do get asked about a fair bit. So grab yourself this map here, and where we're going to start here is up on Carter's Road. Now I think I've got a dot there somewhere. Hang on, I just have to find it. First dot, Carter's Road is this one out here. So that one there is where this trip's going to start. We're going to head up through Carter's Road onto Mount Number 3 track. Now, that Carter's Road, as mentioned before, it's a very, very easy road to drive on a dry condition. I'll tell you what, you struck some water on that road, and it's a very, very different road to drive. It's very, very slippery, greasy, that sort of thing. So, head up Carter's Road. And then this is going to be a weekend trip. So I'm going to throw this in as a pretty easy, cruisy weekend trip. If you just want to get away with a couple of your mates, you're starting out in dry conditions, just starting out, and you want to go and do a pretty cruisy weekend, this is going to be a cracker. And then we'll do a couple more. So I'll get some more weekend trips in this as we go forward. But we'll start off with this one. So up Carter's Road, drive all the way up through there until you get to the start of Mount Number 3 track. Now, when the start of Mount Number 3, that's generally where I pull over and I start getting some air out of my tyres. So, and that's the other thing too, also you want to, when we're talking about recovery gear and that sort of stuff, you need some decent gear where you can deflate and inflate tyres. Absolute must. Before you start doing any full driving, you've got to be able to let your tyres down. You've got to be able to pump it back up again with a compressor, or whether it's something that's built into your full drive or just something that's alligator clips, onto your batteries. Doesn't matter what it is, as long as it blows out air and pumps your tyres up, that's all you need. But you're going to need at least both of those items. So, and look, even if you have to use a stick, in your tyre valve for the moment, and as long as you've got a gauge, you can read how much pressure's in it, that is feeding them all you need just to get started. So you can get your tyre pressures down to where you need them, and then make sure you can get them pumped back up again at the end of your trip. So you up Carter's Road and then jump on a Mount Number 3 track. Now, Mount Number 3 is a fantastic drive across there, beautiful drive on a nice day. You're going to experience, some sort of rocky terrain through there. Again, it's all nothing overly steep. It's a great drive, very scenic too. You'll get some magnificent views if you get a lovely day, where you can look back across Mansfield and all that sort of stuff too. So really, really nice drive there. And you'll come across, in this trip too, you're going to get to see some of the high country huts. So Mount Number 3 hut is the first one you're going to come across. That's worth having a look at that there. Really nice spot to actually camp, Mount Number 3 hut. I don't know if any of you guys have ever done any camped at Mount Number 3, but it is a cracking spot there. I've stayed there a few times, and not so much in the hut there, but outside it. It's a great hut to stay in. And then once you're finished with Mount Number 3, continue on until you get to the end of it. Now, if you just want to quickly do a quick diversion to go and check out another hut, as you come to the end of Mount number 3, which comes out onto the circuit road, we'll just hang a quick righty, and you can duck in there and have a look at Razorback huts. Now, Razorback huts have been there for many, many years, and predominantly used by the horse riding tours that go through there. McCormick's use it a lot, and quite a few other horse riding mobs that ride out of Merrijig there. They use that hut a fair bit. So a lot of horse people just drive in there too, and they just do their tours. Even their social rides they set up there because there's horse yards and that sort of thing. But Razorback hut's worth Ferdingham driving in there. It's only a few hundred metres to drive in there. Have a quick look at those huts. Great huts they are. Stacks of atmosphere with them, and they're worth certainly having a look at. And then come out of there, and then once you come out of there, hang a lefty back on the circuit road. Follow the circuit road all the way through until you get to King Basin track. And again, King Basin, this is pretty much a 2-wheel drive road on a good day. But, again, if it gets a bit wet, it's certainly going to be very greasy. But you'd want to stay in full drive all the way through. Once you engage full drive from the start of Mount number 3 track, just leave it in full drive. Run all the way through there in probably high range full drive. Not going to be so much low range, but just high range full drive. Then you got plenty of traction, plenty of control over what's going on some of those greasy corners. Even in the dry, they can still get a bit greasy and a bit slippery. So head down King Basin as if you're heading now down towards the King River. Now, as you head down there, you're going to come to the King River track off to the right. Look, it's fairly endless where we can go from here. There's so many options. Pineapple Flat's only just down the road from there. But I'd continue. I'd hang a righty and get on to King Basin, the King Basin track. Now, from here, you're going to do about 5 or 6 crossings of the King River. It's a nice cruisy drive through there. Ideal if you've got a snorkel on your vehicle, especially if you're now starting to talk about river crossings. I've always said no snorkel, no high country, full stop, end of story. But depending on the condition, like this time of year, it wouldn't be too bad, but geez, it can change at any time too. So you just got to be very, very mindful of that. But that whole track right through there is very, very easy to drive. And, you'll get a bit of an experience about driving through some river crossings, as we all enjoy driving, river crossings, that sort of stuff, and get that experience to drive through there. So do about 5 or 6 crossings through there. Some actually nice camp spots too as you go through there. But the spot I'd be looking to camp at would be at King Hut. Now, so once you come out through the last one there into the national park, arrive there at King Hut and probably spend the night there. You've had a big day out, just, getting started, getting the feel of your vehicle. You don't want to do too much on that first day. You just leave Mansfield, get out through that first day and just bait and pull up there at King Hut. Fantastic spot there. You got drop toilets and everything there at King Hut. Magnificent spot right there on the King River. Absolutely beautiful spot. So probably set up your first night there. You're not going to be too stressed for time. Pretty easy to get through there. Pull up at King Hut, spend the night there, and then the next day you're going to get up and pack up from King Hut. Hang on, stand right. And then after leaving King Hut, just follow that track all the way out. Actually, when I say all the way out, it's not that far. And then you're going to come to the junction of Speculation Road, right? So, and it is a road, but again, just leave it in high range, full drive all the way out through there. It's a very easy drive out in the dry. So drive all the way out through there. Glenn from WA, mate. Thanks very much for coming in tonight. Good to see you guys coming in. This is cracking feedback here. Love it. So leave as you leave King Hut. Head up there for about a K or so and then hang a righty onto Speculation Road. Drive all the way out of Speculation Road till you get to the very end and you come to a T intersection from there. Now, T intersection is back now on the circuit road. So there's 2 ways you can go here. You can either do the very easy road. We're going to eventually get to Craig's Hut. So the very easy road to Craig's Hut is turn right, and then just go up there for about 4 or 5 Ks and then you'll see the track which turns left up to Craig's Hut, well signposted, couple of Ks and you'll be at the hut. But if it's a good day and, again, you're just starting out with a few mates, hang a lefty here and then drive down there, the same deal, drive down the circuit road for probably about another 4 or 5 Ks until you come to Monument Track. You'll see the Monument Track going off at your right. You're going to Bindaree Road directly opposite that. Well, hang a righty there on the Monument Track. And this is going to be another great track where you're going to get some good low range action, get to feel what low range feels like going up. It's fairly all uphill, but it's a great track for entry level drivers to go and drive provided it's dry, right? We keep emphasising this all the way through. As long as it's dry, unless you're with experienced guys, it's a totally different ball game. So head up Monument Track, some good climbs up through there, a couple of steep sort of switchbacks in there you're going to have to deal with. But get up there and drive all the way through until you get to the very end of that, which brings you out on Clear Hills Track. And again, there now you're going to turn righty. You want to get to Craig's Hut. So hang a righty. Everyone wants to go to Craig's Hut. Look, I just love the joint too. So you're not the only one who wants to get to Craig's Hut. Hang a righty there. And then within a couple of Ks, you'll be in the car park down there at Craig's Hut. Now, that is a fantastic, very easy, cruisy weekend trip for someone, again, who's just starting out. You know, it's not overly challenging driving, again, provided it's dry. But all through there, you're going to get a good idea of what low range feels like and what it's like to drive in full drive, low range. Bit of high range stuff too, as I mentioned, over Circuit Road and heading down towards the King River and that sort of stuff, and Speculation Road. You're going to get a bit of a feel of both, which is fantastic. And your low tyre pressures. Absolutely great trip. You'll have an absolute ball on that sort of trip with doing that on those dry conditions. And certainly check it out. Go to Craig's Hut. Now, if you've got some time, it depends how you're going for time there, whether you've got to get back to Melbourne or not. But, you could all just head from there down and back on the Circuit Road and then back into Mansfield and that sort of stuff. But I highly recommend, if you've got the time, because if by the time you leave Craig's Hut King Hut up to Craig's Hut, you're going to be up there within sort of an hour and a half, 2 hours absolute max. That's really stretching it for time. You're really maxing it out at a couple of hours to get up to Craig's Hut from King Hut. So you get up there for morning tea or something, maybe spend an hour or so there, just having a bit of a look around, enjoying the view, because the views from up there is sensational. And then to finish your day, particularly if you've got to head back through Melbourne, get back to Mansfield, back through Melbourne, well, try and kick some time in where you got to go, come back out of the car park there at Craig's Hut, and then turn right back onto Clear Hills Track, which is the way you sort of came in after your Monument. Go back through Clear Hills and continue on through there. You'll go past Monument Track again on your left. Go straight past there and do the run over the top of over the top of Mount Stirling, because that is a great drive. And again, you're going to experience some really fairly reasonable sort of up sections there. Bit of a rocky stuff too, but it's a great drive for entry-level guys to get in there and check that one out. So drive up over the top of Mount Stirling there and then park up at the top. You can't miss the summit, because as soon as you start seeing Mount Buller, the ski resort over the top there, and straight in front of you, you're going to be at the summit of Mount Stirling there. And then walk up the summit. So you've got left and right there. Park your vehicle right at the top there. Left and right, you can walk to the summit. The actual summit is up to the right. And make sure you walk up. It's just not on to be driving up there. So walk up to the top of Mount Stirling there, up to the trig point up there, and check out the amazing views. I highly, highly recommend it, particularly if you get a nice day, nice sunny day. That drive over Mount Stirling Clear Hills Track is top notch. And then once you finish there, just continue on Clear Hills Track, wind your way all the way down the bottom. Check out another couple of huts there at the bottom there at Harcourt Gap Hut. There's a couple of huts there. One's original old logging hut that's been there for many, many years, and then the other one that's fairly newish. What would that be? Probably in the last maybe 10 years, they built another one there. Another ski hut, pretty much for the cross-country guys and that sort of stuff. They can stay in that one there. Drop toilets and that sort of thing going on there. But well worth having a look at those couple of huts there. Back on the Circuit Road, hang a righty, into Telephone Box Junction, and then back into Mansfield home. Now, as I say, that is an absolutely fantastic weekend. Very, very easy drive. And you're going to get a feel of all how your low range and high range gearing sort of all works. You're going to get the idea of your tyre pressures and that sort of stuff. But again, I'm going to keep going on about it as long as it's dry conditions, because those tracks, even as easy as they are when it's dry, they will change very, very quickly if any sort of rain starts to come on it. So, and again, unless you're going out with experienced guys, but that's not really in this sort of discussion here. This is purely for guys that want to get out with a couple of their mates. Don't ever go by yourself, but if you've got a couple of your mates, that is a fantastic trip to go and drive and do it with your mates and camp down there at King Hut. King Hut's there just it's a cracking spot there, right on the King River. Got drop toilets and everything going there. National park. So again, dogs and things can't come on this whole trip. And pretty much this whole trip I've talked about is only open also when the seasonal gate closures, the seasonal gates are open, which is now right through to that first Thursday after Queen's birthday weekend in June, which is only 3 or 4 months away, when you can actually do this trip. So keep all that one in mind there, and let's have a chat with some of you guys there. Adam, g'day mate, love your videos. Thanks very much there coming in there tonight. G'day Dave, how are you mate? I'm going pretty good, thank you. Katrina coming in from Kangaroo Island, South Australia. Love the show. Thanks very much there, Katrina, coming in tonight. Kangaroo Island is a very different island this time last year, so I'm glad we're all well past that. Pete, yeah, Bindaree Falls. We'll chat about Bindaree Falls coming into some other trips, because I'm going to do a bit of a series about this, particularly for entry-level guys. Look, anyone can drive this, because these tracks I'm talking about, they're fitting them. They cover some of the most stunning country in the Victorian High Country. So anyone can go and drive them. And but just keep that in mind, that this whole area, this series I'm going to talk about, is pretty much only open while the gates are open, which is now. G'day, Shana. How you going there, mate? Smashed my jockey wheel on the camper. That's no good. Doing the King River crossings, plenty of large pebbles. They are, particularly probably if you're coming through from Pineapple Flat End. I think it's about the second or third crossing. It's very, very rocky in there. So yeah, you've got to be very, very careful, particularly if you're pulling trailer there. And look, you could take a trailer through this, but for those guys those guys and the girls that are just getting started out, I'd leave the trailers at home. Just take your tent, your swag, rooftop, whatever you got. Just feeding them, go there, enjoy it, because you'll have an absolute ball on that trip. And that's the map you got to get. That one there, this map here is going to cover a fair whack of what we're going to talk about over the next couple of weeks. We're going to do some big loops around that map there, and cover some amazing country. And it's great for all those guys, with full drive tracks, and you're looking, and you're beginners. This is absolute knockout country. G'day, Camo. How you going there, mate? Can you please say hello to my son, Harvey? G'day, Harvey. How you go? How you going, mate? He doesn't believe that you talk to him. G'day, Harvey. Good to chat to you, mate. Hopefully everything's going all right there. Great to chat to you, and thanks very much, guys, there for dropping in there tonight. Hopefully Harvey having a good night. Good on a Sunday night. Leanne, what's going there? What is the easiest to learn, up or down slopes? Well, I don't think there's an easier for either of them, because they both handle very, very differently, whether you're going up or down. One you're coming downhill, well, you're on the brakes a bit more. If you're going uphill, well, momentum's key, and trying to work it out. So, I don't think one's easier over the other. At least when you're coming down a hill, you've got a bit more time. You can look further down the track. You can get a bit more of an idea of what's coming up and that sort of thing. So you can sort of plan wheel placements and that sort of kind of thing. But when you're going uphill, particularly if it's a long uphill section, you don't have a lot of time, because you've got to keep that momentum going. And I love driving those sort of tracks. And there's plenty of them in the high country where they just keep going and going and going and going. But so uphill, you don't have a lot of time, and gets the adrenaline pumping when you're just going and going and going, because you can't be looking, for way up the track to see what's coming up. You're just really focusing on what there is in front of you. So that's probably how get around that one, I reckon. It's easy to learn up to downhill. We'll go cover that one. Jacko, how you going, mate? I'm going pretty good. Thanks very much. Nugs 105, loving these solo adventures. Thanks very much, mate. I've got an absolutely cracking solo trip coming up tomorrow night. 5 o'clock it'll start on YouTube. It's a ripper trip I did only last week down on the Snowy River, which I'll leave it right there. But far out. This was probably up there as one of my best as far as our riverside camping spots go. This is an absolute knockout. So tune in. Look at it anytime you want, but it'll be up from 5 o'clock tomorrow night. There we go. Daz, what's going on, mate? Wishing all YouTube channels. There's a lot of information and advice for beginners. No worries there, mate. Bryce, been down Talbotville once and loved it. What's some great things to see around the area? Look, Talbotville's got a heap going on. I've actually got a video, if you want to check it out, mate, Bryce, directly about Talbotville. I've sat in Talbotville, got the maps and everything out. I've talked about tracks and places you can go ins and out. So if you want to check that one out, Bryce, that might certainly help you out, because there is a stack to see. Base camping up there at Talbot, you know, you could easily spend 2 or 3 days there, no worries, easy, and do some ins and outs. So maybe have a look at that video I've got there on my channel there, mate, about Talbotville, because it's an absolute cracker. G'day, Matt. How you going there, mate? Greatly appreciate it. Sean, g'day. Everyone's saying g'day to Harvey now. Everyone wants to talk to Harvey. Where's Harvey? Get Harvey on. Pity we can't grab him in here and have a chat to Harvey. We need to see Harvey. G'day, Shannon. How are you, mate? How you going, mate? I'm going pretty good. Hit that like button, everyone there. Look, greatly appreciate everyone tuning in here tonight. That's all good. But look, we'll wrap this one up. But yeah, over these next couple of weeks, we're going to do a couple more sort of around that Mansfield map sort of thing that I just showed you there tonight. We're going to do a lot more tracks around that area there, a lot more loops that people can go and do, particularly those entry-level drivers. Want to go and do some four-drive tracks if you're starting out. And then we're going to leave Mansfield area, we'll head away through, and we're going to come out through Lacala. So, yeah, absolutely cracking trip. So we'll wrap it up here from here, but greatly appreciate everyone dropping in tonight. It's an absolute cracker seeing you guys on here tonight. And we'll see you same bat time next Sunday night, 7:30, right on here, and come and we'll give you a couple more loops for these entry-level guys, and anyone can go and do them. Look, I like driving them myself because they're absolutely stunning country. So check them out then, guys, and have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Thanks very much. Stay safe, and see you later on. Everybody, guys, thanks very much. See ya.